Hi everyone, welcome to your April 2023 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering all of the major events for April, and I'll be going through sign by sign from Aries through to Pisces. So I'm going to be focusing on the full moon in Libra, the new moon eclipse in Aries, the Sun and Jupiter conjunction, as well as the Mercury retrograde transit, which we will be having in Taurus. So, right from the beginning of the month, many of you will already be feeling the effects of the eclipse because we seem to feel the effects about 4 weeks before, and the eclipse is on the 20th of April. So, this can be characterized by disturbed sleep patterns, insomnia, heightened emotions, whether you are feeling a little bit anxious, stressed, or there could just be emotional ups and downs. This is all very common and normal when we are in eclipse season. So, not only will we be having an eclipse on the 20th of April in Aries, we're also going to be having an eclipse on the 5th of May. So, the energy of the eclipse will be with us from, well, literally now through till about early June. And also from about the 7th of April, we will be in the pre-shadow period for Mercury retrograde. So it is a little bit annoying that we've got an eclipse and a Mercury retrograde happening at the same time, but you can expect this month to go by really, really quickly. So I am going to start off with Aries. And just by the way, you can watch your horoscope for your sun, moon, or rising sign. The difference between the three is that the sun sign horoscope will pertain more to your career and your creative self-expression, as well as your big goals and dreams. Your moon sign horoscope will tell you more about your your emotional health and well-being, your emotional needs, family matters, as well as property and living circumstances. And your rising sign will generally speaking, be the most accurate for you overall. So if you're only going to watch one horoscope today, I would actually recommend that you go with your rising sign horoscope. Now, before I get into Aries, I just wanted to remind you that I've got my 2023 yearly horoscopes available for purchase. So you can purchase your sun, moon, and or rising sign horoscope by clicking on the link in the description box below. So let's begin with Aries. Aries, this is such a huge month for you because not only is it your season, it's Aries season till about the 20th of April. We're also going to have the new moon eclipse in your sign and the Sun and Jupiter conjunction in your sign as well. So before I get into that, I do like to go in order. So I'm going to start off with the full moon in Libra, which is occurring on the 6th of April. So the full moon in Libra will be at 16 degrees and it will be in your 7th house. What's interesting about this full moon is that the sun will actually be making an exact conjunction to Chiron on the same day. So this full moon will be quite an emotional one because Chiron is the wounded healer in astrology. So, in some way, shape, or form, this full moon will be pertaining to your one-to-one relationships of all kinds, and there will be an opportunity for some deep healing to take place. Worst case scenario, though, is that there could be hurtful things that are said, or there could be some sort of fallout in one or more of your personal relationships. So, with the full moon being in your 7th house, this can indicate that there is the end of a contract taking place. You may break it, the other person may break the contract, or it may even just be the successful completion of some kind of contract or obligation to another person. And with the influence of Chiron here, maybe it's bittersweet. So maybe you really enjoyed working with this other individual, or perhaps you really loved working on this project or delivering this service, and there could be an element of um, uh, sadness, really, that it is ending. And like I said before, there may be the ending of a relationship taking place. This could be romantic, this could be business, this could be a friendship. However, like I said before, there is the opportunity for deep healing to take place within one of these relationships. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, there's the end of a relationship taking place. It could be that you are having a confronting conversation with another person, whether you're bringing this to them or maybe they are bringing it to you. But really, there is the opportunity here for you to bury the hatchet. And on a different level, your words could have a very healing effect on another person. In terms of the topic of this conversation, well, because it is Libra and at 16 degrees, which is the Cancer degree, which pertains to family, property, children, and so on and so forth, those could be the topics that this conversation is centered around. So family, property matters, your living circumstances, whether it's family with having children, whether you should have children or not, the conversation perhaps with your children, or maybe an important conversation with a family member. Now, on the 11th of April, the Sun is going to conjunct Jupiter, and this only happens once a year. Last year, the conjunction was in Pisces. In 2024, it will be in Taurus, and essentially, I'm going to combine my interpretation with the new moon eclipse in Aries, just because the new moon eclipse will also be conjunct Jupiter. With this being in Aries, first of all, the Aries individuals who will feel this the most will be those in the last decan of Aries, so 20 to 29 degrees. The Sun-Jupiter conjunction will take place at 21 degrees. The new moon eclipse will take place at 29 degrees. And this can see you guys feeling more energized and feeling more excited about what the future holds for you. Because this conjunction only takes place once a year, this is a new 12-month cycle that is starting. And this could involve travel opportunities for you, education opportunities, whether you are teaching or perhaps you are taking on some kind of new education course. This can see some of you having a spiritual awakening, or there could be some profound changes which occur with respect to your belief systems in general, which Jupiter rules over. With the new moon eclipse in Aries in your first house, once again, it's taking place on the 20th of April, but the new moon eclipse, let's say catalyst event, can actually take place a month before or a month after the eclipse. Some astrologers will say 10 days to 14 days, but I've seen it firsthand take place up to a month beforehand. So, like I said, this could be a new travel opportunity, a new education opportunity. This could even be freedom from some sort of toxic situation, especially if it involves something to do with, let's say, the law, legal matters, and ultimately Jupiter rules over your 12th house as well as your 9th house. So with this new moon eclipse being conjunct Jupiter, this may be you guys feeling as though you're being liberated from a negative belief system. Okay, so for others of you, you could be falling pregnant. You may actually receive some sort of new exciting opportunity or proposal. Some of you may be getting engaged, or you may be doing the proposing. This could even be a marriage that is taking place. And because it's in Aries, this could actually happen really swiftly and maybe out of the blue. So maybe you guys are eloping, or you could get engaged and get married really, really quickly. And basically, this is a rebirth that is taking place with respect to your confidence. So you guys can be feeling like you're more optimistic about the future. You can feel as though your horizons are expanding, or you can really tell that good things are on the horizon for you. Now, on the 21st of April, which is the very next day, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde taking place in the sign of Taurus. So this will be from the 21st of April through till the 14th of May. Like I said in the intro, you can start to feel the pre-shadow effects like 2 weeks before the Mercury retrograde. So from about the 7th of April, you may be feeling it. So with this taking place in your second house, this can see you reorganizing your finances. You may be changing around your budgets, what you're spending money on. You may just be revising your expenses in general. You could be changing up your diet. You could be returning to a former diet. So, for example, if you used to be a vegetarian or vegan, you could go back to being vegetarian or vegan. And on a different note, a possession or a valuable could be returned to you. Look, it is a time period where you may lose valuables and possessions, but what's good about losing them during Mercury retrogrades is we usually find them after the Mercury retrograde. So lastly, with Mercury being retrograde in your second house, you may be changing up your wardrobe or how you are presenting yourself in terms of, let's say, beauty standards, whether this is hair or makeup. And that is because the second house is connected to those things, especially the lower half of the face. So I don't know, maybe some of you will be going back to see a dentist or just getting some adjustments made in that department. Now, if you are a Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, this full moon in Libra will be taking place on the 6th of April in your sixth house. And the sixth house is associated with work, health, habits, debts, and pets as well. So with the full moon being in your sixth house, you may be leaving your job or you may be achieving some sort of important milestone when it comes to work. Maybe we'll be launching a project because this full moon is going to be exactly opposite Chiron. So Sun and Chiron will be conjunct in your 12th house. There may be certain self-sabotaging behaviors that you are exhibiting, which you are noticing are creating conflicts in your everyday life, because the 12th house is very psychological, it's very hidden, it is associated with mental health. And then the sixth house, which is exactly opposite, is really about the tedium of our day-to-day life, our work, our health, and our physical habits. So there may be some correlation here between unresolved issues of an emotional or mental kind, which are having a negative impact on your day-to-day life. And maybe this is even taking place in your work domain. So on a different note, with the full moon taking place in your sixth house, you may have an employee who resigns during this period of time, or you may have to let someone go. Because this full moon is opposite Chiron, this indicates to me that it's something that you don't want to happen. You know, maybe it's your favorite employee, or maybe there is some kind of conflict between you and an employee, given that the sixth house rules over employees. Now, you could be achieving some kind of health goal, or you could understand the root cause of some sort of health issue. So this full moon in your sixth house could be quite illuminating when it comes to health problems or issues that you have been experiencing. With the sixth house ruling over habits of all kinds, this full moon in your sixth house may see you finally kicking a bad habit, or there may be a habit which you have sort of clung onto, which is now at breaking point. And just as a random example, let's just say that you smoke cigarettes and you love smoking and you haven't had any issues with you smoking. You're like, hey, this is what I like doing. I don't care about the health benefits. There may be some kind of health crisis which pops up, which means that you have to quit smoking. And sorry if this example is on the nose for some of you guys. It's just the first one that came to me. On a different note, the sixth house rules over debt. So you could be paying off some kind of debt. And for others of you, you could have money that is returned to you. With the opposition to Chiron, you could be helping someone or someone could be helping you, because the 12th house rules over charity and donations. And maybe this is a bit of like an ego punch for you guys, where you're like, oh, I really don't want to have to accept help from another person, but you know that it's for your best interest in some way, shape, or form. Because this full moon is in Libra at 16 degrees, and that is the Cancer degree, which pertains to property, family, and living circumstances, there could be some sort of situation which is being resolved or reaching some sort of peak or conclusion, which is associated with tenants, your lease, or the selling or buying of property. Now, on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse at 29 degrees in Aries, and this will be taking place in your 12th house. And 9 days before that, on the 11th of April, we have the Sun and Jupiter conjunction in Aries at 21 degrees. So this is not making a direct aspect to you. However, with the new moon eclipse at 29 degrees Aries, this is super close to Taurus. So if you are anywhere between, let's say, 0 or 5 degrees Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, this eclipse will be having an impact on you. And also this pertains to those of you born in, let's say, the first 4 or 5 days of Taurus season, which is like the 21st of April to, the 25th, let's say. And essentially, with the Sun and Jupiter conjunction in the 12th house, this indicates that there is some sort of new 12-month cycle that is taking place, which can impact you on a spiritual level, or let's just say with respect to your inner world or a creative project, or this could even be to do with your education when it comes to esoteric matters. So with the eclipse, you may be starting a new project which has spiritual or esoteric roots. So this could be to do with astrology, tarot, mediumship, psychic work, being a clairvoyant. The 12th house is also associated with yoga or meditation, so it could be in relation to that as well. This can definitely indicate some sort of profound spiritual awakening taking place, especially because the new moon eclipse is conjunct Jupiter, and Jupiter rules over spirituality and religion. So you may feel like you are divinely inspired to create, whether this is to do with music or something artistic in nature. The 12th house also rules over creativity and music. So some of you could be starting to learn a new instrument, or you could be writing music or poetry, or you could be starting a new creative writing piece. Also, the 12th house is associated with acting. So some of you may be working on a new film. The 12th house is associated with photography and filmography. So maybe you're starting a photography project. You could be taking a photography course. And like I said, with the influence of Jupiter here, this is about learning and spirituality and, let's say, intuitive and prophetic abilities. So I really think that for many Taurians, some sort of spiritual awakening will be taking place in relation to those aforementioned matters. Now, the 12th house is also associated with self-sabotage, victimhood, martyrdom, fears, and addictions. So this new moon eclipse can see you experiencing freedom from some sort of addiction or from a fear. You could be understanding your subconscious behavior at a deeper level, especially if it is self-sabotaging in nature. You could experience deep and profound healing on some level. And because the 12th house is a hidden house, as well as the 8th house, and it is associated with secrets and the unseen, something really special could be occurring in your private life that you want to keep a secret from someone else. So there could be some sort of blessing which takes place in your inner world, or which you want to keep really private and close to your chest. So maybe very few people will know about this, or perhaps this is just for you to know. And if there is something that you want to keep a secret, whether this is a project or a relationship of some kind, or a connection, the influence of Jupiter here in your 12th house will allow you to keep this private matter close to you and close to your chest without other people finding out about it. Now, on the 21st of April, Until the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus in your first house, and this will be from 15 degrees going back to 5 degrees. So that means that the Taurians who will be the most impacted by this Mercury retrograde will be those between 5 and 15 degrees Taurus. So when we have Mercury retrograde in our first house, we can be rethinking our path, rethinking our choices, because Mercury rules over your second house, which is Gemini, and it also rules over your fifth house, which is Virgo. This could be you guys rethinking or reevaluating your choices when it comes to finances, valuables, your self-worth, your priorities, your diet, your clothing, how you present yourself. And with Mercury ruling over the fifth house, maybe there will be changes that you want to make, or you'll be rethinking matters concerning your business if you own your own business, business ideas, creative ideas, children, dating, and romance. Mercury retrograde in the first house can indicate that you will be hearing back from lots of people who you are already acquainted with. And, these could be co-workers, friends, relatives, siblings. With Mercury ruling over your fifth house, this could be having an illuminating conversation with your children or your child. If you are estranged from your children or your child, this could see you actually getting back onto talking terms with them. And many of you could be hearing back from an ex, or you could be having a clarifying conversation with someone that you are dating. And lastly, this is a great time for you to revisit former hobbies and passions of yours, especially if you have projects that have been left undone. Now, for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Risings, the full moon eclipse will be taking place on the 6th of April, and this will be occurring in your fifth house. So the fifth house is all about dating, romance, children, sex, your business, if you own your own business, hobbies, passions, and creative projects. Full moons can indicate the end of a chapter taking place, or a situation reaching its peak or some sort of climax. So with respect to dating and romance, for some of you, with this full moon being opposite Chiron, there could be the ending of a relationship taking place. On a different level, though, healing within a relationship could be occurring. So, of course, this is a general reading and it's going to impact people on a different level. But ultimately, the fifth house is, like I said, associated with dating and romance. So, for some of you, you could be taking a casual dating situation or connection to the next level. When it comes to business, you may be launching a new business. You may be launching a project or a product that you have been working on. You may be releasing a service. And the fifth house is associated with performance. So if you are an athlete or an actor, or if you're in the music industry, you may be giving some kind of performance. And the fifth house, like I said, rules over children. So some of you may be falling pregnant, or you may be giving birth. If you already have children, this could see there being some sort of big development taking place in their personal life. And the reason why I'm saying it's a big development is because it's opposite Chiron. So this could be with respect to your child's dating life. It could be with respect to their communication abilities, or maybe a friendship that is taking place, or just how they are interacting in one-to-one personal relationships. Now, Geminis, on the 11th of April, we're going to see the Sun and Jupiter forming a conjunction at 21 degrees in your 11th house. And then on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees in your 11th house. So the 11th house is associated with friends, community, your big goals and dreams for the future, passive forms of income, residual forms of income, as well as innovation and, let's say, large interconnected systems. So for some of you, you may be joining a new community. You may be forming one. You may be creating your own community of some kind. You may discover a new friendship group. You may form an important new friendship. You may be starting a new social media platform or channel, or there may be a new development or arm of your business which is taking place in a digital capacity or in an online capacity. So, for example, maybe you have your own Instagram um, channel. Maybe you have your own Instagram account and you've got a Facebook account as well, and you've been thinking about launching a YouTube channel. This could be the extension of that. So you may be starting a YouTube channel around this period of time. Now, because this Sun and Jupiter conjunction is taking place in your 11th house, this can see there being a big goal or dream that you have for the future. And it could have a 12-month cycle, or let's say, you know, um, it could take 12 months to pull off. It doesn't necessarily need to be 12 months, but essentially, this can see you guys developing some sort of new vision for your future, or you're just realizing your big goals and your big dreams. Some of you could be discovering a new way to earn a residual or passive form of income. You may have new goals or dreams with respect to how to make money. Some of you may be starting a PhD program because the 11th house is associated with PhDs, and we've also got Jupiter being involved here. And Jupiter is associated with education and higher learning. For some of you, you may actually be receiving some sort of financial benefit from the government or some kind of institution or establishment. You may even be receiving a scholarship for those of you who are involved in higher learning. And because we've got Jupiter ruling over your 10th house, which is associated with the government, and it also rules over your 7th house, which is associated with the law, and Jupiter itself rules over the law and court cases, you may be receiving a payout from a court case or some sort of damages. Now, from the 21st till the 14th, from the 21st of April till the 14th of May, Mercury, which is your ruling planet, will be retrograde in Taurus from 15 degrees going back to 5 degrees, and this is taking place in your 12th house. So, retrogrades in the 12th house are more psychological in nature. So, this can see you understanding self sabotaging behavior or the root cause of certain fears or addictions that you may have. This can see you discovering ways to overcome fears or overcome certain addictions. Because Mercury um, is your chart ruler and it's in your 12th house, this could see you editing some kind of creative project. And you could even be going back to see a tarot reader or an astrologer, or if you were learning about these areas for yourself, this could see you pursuing learning about these topics once again. And maybe you used to practice tarot and you pushed the pause button on that. This can see you going back to um, delivering readings, whether these are for yourself or for other people. And if I didn't mention it already, you may be returning to a yoga or meditation practice. In any case, Mercury retrogrades in the 12th house can see you thinking really deeply about your, let's say, deeper emotional state, your emotional health and well-being, as well as your mental health as too, because the 12th house rules over these matters. Now, for Cancer Sun, Moon, or risings, the full moon in Libra at 16 degrees will be taking place in your 4th house on the 6th of April. So this is occurring in the house which rules over property, living circumstances, as well as family. And because 16 degrees is the Cancerian degree, which rules over these matters anyway, we're really doubling down on these topics. So some of you may be having a lease that ends, whether you are breaking that lease or whether it's just coming to a natural end. You may be selling property, you may be buying property. Someone may be moving out of your house or your home, or you may be the one who moves out. Because this full moon is opposite Chiron, there is some sort of heightened emotional influence which is accompanying this full moon. So don't be surprised if you guys are feeling quite emotional around the 6th of April. And as I'm filming this now, it's the 1st of April. So you may be feeling this already, or you may be experiencing these matters already. So there could be some kind of argument or conflict which takes place around this time. But just remember that because the full moon is opposite Chiron, there's actually an opportunity here for you to resolve a long-standing issue with a family member, or this could even be just a deep-seated emotional issue with a family member. So really profound healing can take place around the 6th of April, plus or minus a couple of weeks. Now, on the 11th of April, the Sun and Jupiter will form a conjunction in Aries at 21 degrees, and this will be taking place in your 10th house. Then on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees, which will be conjunct Jupiter at 23 degrees. So because this is occurring in a cardinal sign, this happens to be squaring you as a Cancer sun, moon, or rising. So when our sun, moon, or ascendant is squared, the effects or the impact can see it being some sort of challenge, but because this involves Jupiter, it may be like a stretch goal or growing pains. So just know that this is still a blessing that is coming your way, because Jupiter is involved here in both astrological events. So with this conjunction and new moon taking place in the 10th house, this impacts your status in life. Now, some astrologers say that the 10th house is all about work and career and public reputation, but from what I've observed, the 10th house rules over your status of all kinds. So you can sort of see it as like your resume. Just excuse me, sorry guys. I do not want to have a croaky throat, a croaky voice when I'm only a quarter of the way through. Anyway, so this can impact your status just in general, whether this is relationship status, work status, parental status, and even your name or your identity. Now, on the work front, this can see there being a new chapter starting here. So maybe you are starting a new job, joining a new industry. You could be receiving a title change or a promotion, or your work status could be changing. So maybe you were part-time and now you're going full-time. Perhaps you have been unemployed for a while and now you're employed once more. You could be self-employed. You could be retiring, resigning. You could be walking away from a job. On a different note, something about your company that you work for or your business could be changing or expanding in a big way. And that is because Jupiter can represent freedom from a situation, travel opportunities, education opportunities, and expansion. So there may be an opportunity for you to educate yourself further in order to perhaps be more qualified in your chosen industry. Work could be paying for your education. There could be a travel opportunity which is connected to your work. This could even see there being a status change when it comes to permanent residency or citizenship. Now, this could see you becoming a parent or a grandparent. And by the way, with parents, parental status, it doesn't need to be biological. It could be step parent, adoptive parent. You could become a single parent, and your relationship status could be changing. So maybe you are going from being single to being in an exclusive relationship. A relationship that you are in, which has been private, could be made public. You could be getting engaged, married. And for some of you, you could be going through a breakup. Just remember that, this eclipse and this Sun and Jupiter conjunction still brings forth some kind of divine blessing for you, because Jupiter rules over blessings and good fortune. On a different note, there could be a new leadership position, which is, sorry, I hope you guys can't hear that really loud motorbike outside. Anyway, there could be a new leadership position that you are taking on, or some sort of new responsibility. And for others of you, you could even be discovering your life purpose, whether this is something which has been eluding you, or maybe this is an extension or the expansion on your existing awareness of what your life purpose is. Now, from the 21st of April through till the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus in your 11th house from 15 degrees going back to 5 degrees. So this can see you getting back in touch with old friends. You may be making changes to your social media accounts or your social media platforms, or the channels that you are on. This can see you making changes to how you earn money when it comes to a residual or passive capacity. You may be revising your long-term goals and dreams, and any sort of dates, any sort of conference or webinar or events that you were signed up for may be subject to change in terms of timing, location, or the dates themselves. And with the 11th house ruling over networking, this can see you having an opportunity to get back in touch with a network that you are already in connection with or association with. This can see you attending some sort of reunion. Maybe this is with school friends or former work colleagues. And even if you have an existing network as well, which you've sort of left a little bit unattended or by the wayside, this can see you basically going through that network and reorganizing it in a more cohesive fashion. Or let's just say that you used to send out newsletters, or get in touch with your network in some way, and you've been really quiet. This can see you, you know, reaching out to your network once more. And also, if you had left a certain social media account or platform on pause, this can see you reactivating that account and reaching back out to your followers. Now, if you are a Leo, sun, moon, or rising, this full moon will be taking place in Libra at 16 degrees in your third house. So this full moon will be opposite Chiron, and on the same day, the sun, which is your ruling planet, will be conjunct Chiron. So this essentially means that this particular full moon will be having a larger impact on you than you would ordinarily think just by looking at the face of it. So with the full moon taking place in your third house, this can see you completing some kind of communications project or piece, whether this is writing, a documentary, maybe it's even YouTube videos or some kind of content creation that you've been working on. Because it is opposite Chiron, this may have a healing impact on other people. It may be associated with a topic or topics which are painful in nature or which are designed to have a healing impact on other people. On a personal level, you may just be consuming information, whether this is in written form or maybe you watch a movie, or even a YouTube video, which has very deeply healing information for you. And this could see you feeling quite emotional in nature, or you could even just be having a conversation, which is ruled by the third house, which is very healing or illuminating for you. And for some of you, this could be a very difficult conversation that you were having. Now, on a different note, with the third house ruling over friends, siblings, and relatives, worst case scenario is having an argument or perhaps a falling out from one of these with one of these individuals, and the third house rules over co-workers and clients as well. But best case scenario is that you have a really deep conversation with one of these individuals, and maybe you're able to bury the hatchet or resolve some sort of issue between you. Now, on the 11th of April, we are going to see the Sun and Jupiter forming a conjunction in Aries at 21 degrees in your ninth house. So just remember that the Sun is your ruling planet. So, this is one of the most blessed days of the year for you, if not the most blessed day of the year for you. So something very exciting and special could be taking place on the 11th of April, plus or minus a day. And because this is occurring in your ninth house, this is associated with your future, your prospects for your future, travel, education, culture, tourism, other languages, maybe learning other languages, teaching, education. If I didn't mention that already, whether you are learning something new or becoming a teacher. And with the new moon eclipse taking place on the 20th of April in your ninth house, 29 degrees, we're really doubling down on that. And by the way, the Leos who will be the most impacted by these two transits or these two astrological events will be those between 20 degrees and 29 degrees Leo. So that is the last decan of Leo, or the first, let's say, 10 days of Leo season, which is about the 23rd of July through till, I can't count, the 2nd of August. Anyway, you guys can look it up for yourselves. So with this new moon eclipse taking place in your ninth house on the 20th of April, the catalyst event for this could be taking place up to a month before the eclipse, which is from like the 23rd of March even through till, let's say, about, and by that I meant the 20th of March, through till about the 20th of May. Nevertheless, the closer we are to the eclipse, the more likely we are to experience the events taking place. So again, this rules over the ninth house matters, and this is something new which is taking place in your life, which is a blessing. So there could be a new um, education opportunity or higher learning opportunity. So you could be enrolling in a college course or university or a master's program, or this could be some sort of honors program. A new mentor could be entering your life. You could become a teacher or a mentor. You could become a coach of some kind, or you could be engaging the services of a coach, whether that's a business coach or a life coach, or maybe you're an athlete and this is a sporting coach. Now, with the ninth house ruling over travel, tourism, and culture, you could be making plans to travel abroad. You could become involved in the tourism industry. Like I said before, you could be learning a new language. You could meet a foreigner who absolutely changes your life. And for some of you, this could even be romance with a foreigner, because Jupiter rules over your fifth house and Jupiter is conjunct this eclipse. Now, on a different note, something about your future could be revealed to you, because the ninth house is all about your future, and so is Jupiter. So there could be some sort of prophetic vision that you have, or you could even get an astrology reading or a reading with someone who is able to, let's say, enlighten you when it comes to your future prospects. The ninth house is also associated with publishing and import and export. So there could be an important new publishing opportunity that comes your way. And for others of you, this could see you being involved in import and export, or something that you have created with Jupiter ruling over your fifth house, maybe circulated and maybe reach a very large audience. The ninth house is associated with our belief systems. So this can see you having some sort of epiphany when it comes to your spiritual beliefs, your religious beliefs, or your political beliefs, or even just the way in which you view the world, because the ninth house is associated with our Dharma and with optimism. So this can see you guys feeling more optimistic about your future. Now, this could see you realizing that a new passion project, a business idea, a relationship, or even something to do with having children has a viable future. So, for example, if things have been uncertain about a romantic prospect, this can see you understanding that this relationship has a future. Or if you have been unsure about whether or not to have children, or there's been, let's say, fence sitting when it comes to your decision about having children in some capacity, this can see you finding a way to move forward. So this could be adopting a child, or with IVF, just as an example, or perhaps you and your significant other are making plans for your future when it comes to family. Okay, so starting a family is what I mean to say. Now, lastly, because this new moon eclipse is making a trine to you, this can see you actually falling pregnant. Okay. And I want to stress that, this would be Leos between about 20 to 29 degrees. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but, um, those are the ones who are most likely to have that come through for them. Now, if you I was going to move on to Virgo, but I realized I haven't done Mercury retrograde yet. So from the 21st of April through till the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus, and this will be in your 10th house. So this can see you rethinking your career. This can see you speaking to a former employer or an old boss. This can see you um, changing up your hours with work or your employment status. And I'm saying that because the 10th house in astrology rules over work as well as your professional status and your public reputation. So you may be going from um, one state of employment to another, whether that is unemployed to gainfully employed, part time to full time to casual work. For others of you, this may see there being a period of unemployment. I don't want to freak anyone out though. Just remember that this is a general reading. So, how this Mercury retrograde impacts you is going to be different for um, for everyone. And just remember, guys, that this is such a blessed month for you as Leos specifically, because we do have that Sun Jupiter conjunction in Aries on the 11th of April and the new moon eclipse conjunct Jupiter. So, there is overwhelmingly positive energy that is supporting you as Leos for the month of April. Now, if you are a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, the full moon in Libra is going to take place at 16 degrees in your second house. So, the second house is all about your finances, valuables, possessions, your values, your priorities, your sense of self worth and self esteem. So, with the full moon taking place in your second house, this can see you spending quite a bit of money, okay, especially because this full moon is opposite Chiron. Now, because this full moon is at 16 degrees, this could be something to do with your um, living circumstances, property, maybe buying, selling. If you are not spending money, you could be receiving a lump sum of money. But because this full moon is opposite Chiron, for some reason, there could be something which is quite bittersweet about this lump sum of money coming through. Maybe it denotes the end of a relationship. Maybe it is from the sale of a property and maybe you didn't want to move out of that property, or you just have a sentimental attachment to it. On a different note, though, this can see you guys decluttering and giving away a lot of your possessions. With the opposition to Chiron, this could see it being very, very healing for you to clear out old objects. And this could be objects which were um, from childhood because the full moon's at 16 degrees, or it could be from a former residence, or it could even just be from your existing home and you're just like, hey, I need to get rid of this. And maybe it's an emotional experience for you to go through all of your valuables and possessions. You could just be giving away a lot of your possessions. And for others of you, you could be receiving an important valuable or possession, or maybe even a family heirloom. And this could have healing properties of some sort with that opposition to Chiron. Now, on the 11th of April, the Sun and Jupiter will form a conjunction in Aries at 21 degrees in your 8th house. And then on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees in your 8th house. So your 8th house is obviously very heavily activated, and this can see you forming some sort of maybe new bank account or joint venture with another person, because the 8th house rules over mutual resources. So new mutual resources could be coming in. Again, you could be receiving money from the sale of a property, especially because Jupiter rules over your 4th house, which is associated with property. You could certainly be having a profound spiritual awakening or some sort of breakthrough of a healing capacity, or this could even be to do with something esoteric or occult in nature. So you could have an extremely profound tarot reading, mediumship reading, psychic experience. You may actually discover new intuitive abilities. So maybe you're discovering that you have a real talent for astrology or tarot, or maybe you have psychic or clairvoyant visions of some sort. You could start studying astrology, or you could start teaching astrology because of this involvement of Jupiter, which represents education. Now, you could be understanding your own needs when it comes to vulnerability, well, let's say intimacy, sex, and becoming vulnerable, and what it would take for you to become truly vulnerable with another person. This eclipse and this Sun Jupiter conjunction does indicate that there is an impact being had on your personal relationships. And the reason for that is because Jupiter rules over your seventh house, and the seventh house rules over um, relationships of all kinds, whether these are friendships, your spouse, romantic partner, committed long-term relationship, etc. So this could see there being a new sexual relationship that begins, and perhaps one that you want to keep a secret, given that this is taking place in your eighth house. An existing relationship could reach a deeper and more intimate level. There could be a breakthrough here with respect to that. If you have felt emotionally or even sexually bonded or tied to another person, and this is something that you have found to be unpleasant, debilitating, or restrictive in some capacity, the conjunction here to Jupiter, with both the Sun Jupiter conjunction and the new moon eclipse conjunct Jupiter, can see you feeling liberated from this, or freed from this, or maybe even healed from a former relationship. So there can really be a huge breakthrough which takes place for you guys. Even if you are not in a relationship at the moment, or you're not getting into one around the time of the eclipse, it could even be a relationship which ended years ago. It doesn't matter how long ago, months, 1 year, 2 years, 20 years. This can see really deep and profound healing taking place when it comes to, let's say, emotional wounds that you may have sustained through that former connection or through that former relationship. And for others of you, on a totally different level, this can see you receiving a boost in finances. This could come through as some sort of inheritance or insurance, or if you are in a committed relationship, your partner may be receiving an increase in pay, or they may receive some sort of bonus which impacts you in a positive way. Now, lastly, for the month, on the 21st of April through till the 14th of May, Mercury, which is your ruling planet, will be retrograde in Taurus from 15 degrees back to 5 degrees in your ninth house. So this Mercury retrograde will be trining you. And what that means is it's easier to handle than other Mercury retrogrades, say ones that are, squaring you or opposing you. And I'm personally very happy to see this because I'm a Virgo moon and a Gemini rising, so I'm a double Mercury person. And I'm a Taurus, funnily enough. So this is hitting me on 3 different levels. But my personal status aside, for you guys, this can see you rethinking your education course, whether this is you teaching something, learning something. And by that, I mean, maybe you are enrolled in college or university, maybe you're changing the classes that you're taking, or the topic of your master's or your thesis or your major that you're doing. Your teachers or mentors may be changing. So you may be dealing with a substitute teacher, or for one reason or another, you may be switching mentors. On a different note, this can see you making changes to travel plans that you have. And for others of you, if you had a travel trip which you'd pushed the pause button on, this can see you moving forward with those plans. Now, for others of you, you could be rethinking your belief systems of all kinds, whether these are spiritual, religious, political, just how you see the world in general. And also, Mercury rules over your 10th house as well as your first house. And the 10th house, being Gemini for you guys, is associated with your professional status, your public reputation. So you may be rethinking your future when it comes to your career or when it comes to your professional status or reputation or what you want to be known for or known as. Maybe you're changing the title that you have at work. And really, how you perceive your future is really shifting on a powerful level. So, if you saw your life going in one direction and you were really dead set that, this was the course of action that you wanted to take, and, whether this is with career, travel, where you live, um, your work, the industry that you're in, this retrograde in your ninth house can see you really revising all of this and coming to very different conclusions. Now, if you are a Libra, sun, moon, or rising, this full moon on the 6th of April is going to take place in your first house. So, on average, we experience about one full moon in our sign per year. And generally speaking, it is associated with big breakthroughs, a certain chapter or cycle coming to a close or reaching some sort of peak. We can be having big epiphanies during this period of time. So, with this full moon being opposite Chiron, and with Chiron being associated with healing, this can see you guys having a huge breakthrough when it comes to healing of all kinds: mental, physical, psychological, or emotional. The end of a very difficult chapter or cycle could be taking place in your life. Don't be surprised if you feel emotional in the days leading up to the full moon, as in right now, and the days after the full moon. Even 1 to 2 weeks before and after the full moon, you may be feeling it. And of course, we're still in eclipse season, so certainly emotions could be heightened. Look, it would be remiss of me not to mention that the end of a relationship could be taking place just with that opposition to Chiron. But we're going to have the Sun and Jupiter conjunct Aries in your seventh house and a new moon eclipse in your seventh house. So the blessings that you will experience as a Libra will far outweigh any kind of difficulty or challenge which is ushered through with the full moon in Libra. So on the 11th of April, there will be a Sun and Jupiter conjunction taking place in Aries at 21 degrees in your seventh house. Then on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees in your seventh house. So first and foremost, the Libras who will be the most strongly impacted by this will be those between 20 and 29 degrees. So that is the last decan of Libra. And this will be the first 10 days of Libra season. So that would be anyone born from, why am I forgetting the dates? The 22nd of September through till about, I don't know, the 1st or the 2nd of October. But again, why did I say the first 10 days? I meant to say the last 10 days. And I think that for every other sign, I've been saying the first 10 days when I meant the last 10 days. So that will be those of you born from about, now I've got to work backwards. The 14th of October through till about the 22nd of October. Nevertheless, with this occurring in your seventh house, this can see some of you starting a new relationship or taking a new relationship to the next level. This could see there being a proposal which comes through. So maybe you're getting engaged. Some of you may be getting married. For some of you, you may have already planned to get married around the 20th of April, plus or minus about 4 weeks. For others of you, this could be an elopement. Okay, so you could just be like, hey, let's just go and get married right here, right now. And the reason why that would come through is because the seventh house rules over marriage, so does Jupiter, and Aries is to do something quickly. Now, even if there's no new relationship taking place or you're not taking your relationship to a different level, for some of you, you could meet someone special, okay? And this could take like 3 months to unfold. So maybe you meet them somewhere, and even if you just exchange numbers, or you just notice this person but nothing comes of it immediately, just remember that ancient astrology says that the events of eclipses can take 100 days to unfold. So we could be looking at just over 3 months before something eventuates here. And um, because this conjunction is involving Jupiter, which represents freedom, and the new moon eclipse is conjunct Jupiter, in some cases, this may see a breakup taking place. But guys, just remember that Jupiter is the greater benefic in astrology. It brings forth good fortune, blessings, abundance, and so on and so forth. So, and Dharma. Okay, so if you are going through a breakup during this time, I see this as something that is either for your best and highest good. Maybe you are initiating it, or this could be something that you've wanted for a long time, or it could actually occur far more amicably than you anticipated. Now, on a different note, the seventh house rules over one-to-one relationships of all kinds, contracts, clients, and business. So this could see you having an exciting new business prospect, or signing a new client, or an important new sale or deal. This could even see there being a new friendship which takes place with another person, and this could bring some sort of blessing and healing into your life. Now, from the 21st of April, which is the day after the eclipse, through till the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus in your 8th house from 15 degrees going back to 5 degrees. So we experience Mercury retrogrades, about 3 times a year. It's not really a big deal, but it's always worth mentioning it because we always feel the effects, and you will likely be feeling the effects from the 7th of April, which is when we will have the pre-shadow period take place. So this can see there being changes to your mutual resources, changes to your insurance policy, maybe getting back in touch with someone you used to be intimate with. You may be reigniting that intimate or sexual relationship, or you may just hear back from them even if nothing comes from it. You may go back to see an astrologer or a tarot reader or a psychic or someone in the occult industry who you have seen before, or perhaps you were just revisiting the details of a reading that you had received previously, and you could be gleaning some new information and nuggets of wisdom from that reading. Now, you could find a way to overcome a fear or an addiction that you've had for a long time. And on a different note, healing can take place on a deep and profound level. This could be emotional, this could be physical. If you had a surgery which had been postponed, you may be having it take place during the retrograde period, because retrogrades are bringing something back from the past. Or if you had a surgery or a procedure which didn't go as planned, you may be getting that situation rectified or fixed. So, for example, maybe you saw a dentist and they tried some sort of treatment on you and it didn't work. This could see you going back to them to get that fixed up. And yeah, with Mercury retrogrades in the 8th house, this can see us having a spiritual awakening, or really just thinking about matters on a more deep and profound level, which can bring forth some sort of epiphany or realization or intuitive download. And now I'm going to have a look at Scorpio, but first I'm going to drink my cold chamomile tea. It's actually lukewarm, so it's not too bad, but let's see. Just before I go on to Scorpio, it's actually not an Easter egg. It is an egg with a little swan in here. This was my nana's. Anyway, show and tell aside, let's have a look at Scorpio sun, moon, and risings. So if you are a Scorpio, the full moon in Libra will be taking place on the 6th of April in your 12th house at 16 degrees. So the 12th house is very psychological in nature. It rules over anything that we want to keep secret or keep hidden. Yes, the 8th house is also a hidden house in astrology, but so is the 12th house, and the 12th house is really, really spiritual in nature, and it rules over dreams and our intuition. So, with this full moon taking place in your 12th house, many of you Scorpios will be having some sort of spiritual breakthrough. You may be having prophetic dreams. You may be deciphering important codes or messages in your dreams, or feel like loved ones from the other side are trying to reach you through your dreams. And it doesn't even need to be through dreams. This could even be through synchronicities and certain, let's say, repeating numbers, angel numbers, etc. You could have a healing experience, which comes through yoga or meditation, or maybe you'll be attending a spiritual retreat. The 12th house, a full moon in the 12th house can see you completing some sort of creative project, especially if it involves creative writing, poetry, music, acting, filmography, or photography. And you may have a really incredible reading with an astrologer or a tarot reader, or a medium or a psychic, or perhaps even a past life regression. And certainly, many of you Scorpios will be having intuitive downloads, which are just incredibly profound in nature. And the reason why I'm focusing on this is because the full moon is opposite Chiron, and the same day of the full moon, excuse me, the sun and Chiron will be forming a conjunction, which happens about once a year. So this is a time for deep healing. It's probably going to be a very emotional full moon for everyone involved, but especially for you guys, because it is taking place in your 12th house. Now, on the 11th of April, the Sun and Jupiter will form a conjunction in Aries at 21 degrees in your 6th house. And on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees in your 6th house. So your 6th house will be extremely activated from the 11th of April through till the 20th of April. And this can see there being a new work opportunity that comes through, which is a blessing in some form. Okay, so this could involve, with Jupiter ruling over your 5th house, which represents owning your own business, as well as your 12th house, which represents your finances and valuables and possessions. This work opportunity could involve more money. It could involve sales. It could involve you starting your own business, or perhaps the selling of a new product, or the offering of a new service. For some of you, you may discover a new healing modality. You may start a new workout regime. You may discover a new doctor or healing practitioner who really helps you in some kind of way, um, which is just an enormous blessing in your life. And because this is taking place in Aries, this could occur really rapidly. So maybe, you're not expecting this treatment to work this fast, or you're not expecting such positive results from this new healing modality that you're trying, or from, seeing this new healing practitioner. And, this could really blow your socks off. And you're like, wow, I can't believe the improvement that I've seen in my life as a result of this. On a different level, this can see there being freedom from unpleasant tasks, duties, and obligations which have just been tedious or mundane, or which have just been weighing you down. This can see you resolving some kind of conflict or problem or issue, because the 6th house rules over conflicts of all kinds, and Jupiter here can provide some kind of blessing for you, where it's just like, oh, I've overcome this, or I don't have to deal with this person anymore, or now I know what the solution is. I know what to work on in order to fix this issue that I have in my life. So certainly you could be discovering solutions to very difficult and challenging problems, and these could be related to work, health, some sort of legal matter, or even pets as well, because the 6th house is associated with pets, and some of you may be getting a new pet, which could be very, very exciting. So on the 21st of April through till the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus, and this will be from 15 to 5 degrees in your 7th house, which means it is opposite you as a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising. So the Scorpios who will feel this the most will be those between 5 and 15 degrees. Mercury retrogrades in your seventh house can indicate getting back in touch with an ex, getting back together with an ex, hearing from um, hearing from an ex as well, or even former clients or friends, or business contacts. Now, on a different note, the seventh house rules over contracts of all kinds. So, this could see you renegotiating the terms and conditions. If you sign a contract during this period of time, it's almost guaranteed that you will need to go back over the contract, or maybe you've missed a signature, maybe you put the wrong date. Maybe, let's say, if it's a contract to buy a property, perhaps the real estate agent writes down the wrong settlement date. It's just like these um, little adjustments that will need to be made. And for others of you, you may be exercising the cooling off period of a contract, which means that maybe it's like 30 days, get your money back guarantee, or in Australia, the cooling off period for property is, maybe it's just Victoria, but it's 3 business days. So maybe you will sign a property deal and you're like, ugh, that was a mistake. And then, you go back to the real estate agent and say you don't want to proceed anymore. The reason I'm focusing on property is because the full moon is at 16 degrees, and this is the Cancer degree, which rules over property. Now, I just totally bungled that. I was looking at the full moon for Sagittarius. The reason that I'm talking about this being property for Scorpio. Look, I've just totally lost my train of thought. Just know that the seventh house rules over contracts of all kinds. Ugh, I think I'm feeling the Mercury retrograde impacts now, already. Now, on a different note, this can see you returning to see a tutor. Okay, so the seventh house rules over one-to-one tutoring. This could see you rethinking your values when it comes to relationships. So you could have a very clarifying conversation with your significant other. You could be getting back onto the same page, or issues from the past could be dredged up, and maybe you're like, oh, I thought that we had already discussed this and put this to bed, whereas your partner may bring it up and be like, no, this is still bugging me. And it may be quite surprising that you're having to revisit these old issues, but just know that a Mercury retrograde in the seventh house is a perfect opportunity for clarifying conversations. Now, if you are a Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising, this full moon will be taking place in your 11th house on the 6th of April, and it will be at 16 degrees. So, this can see you releasing a project online. This can see you walking away from a certain community that you are part of, or even a friendship. So, there could be some kind of falling out which takes place. However, because the full moon is opposite Chiron, this does actually represent an opportunity for you to have some kind of healing take place within a friendship. So, if there's been long-standing issues, if you have not been on talking terms, this can see you guys actually healing something within that connection. With Chiron, it can really cut both ways, because Chiron is the wounded healer, and it can represent how we experience wounding and how we hurt others. But on the other side of the coin, it represents how we can heal from that. So it really just depends on your own personal set of circumstances. Now, some of you may be completing a community project of some kind. There may be a big win with a community that you are a part of, or a fundraiser that you are involved in, or maybe a large scale event. You could actually receive a lump sum of money, and this could be related to work or health. And by that, and I'm saying that because Venus is in Taurus in your 6th house. So, um, so essentially, it could possibly be a payout from work, or maybe even a payout from some sort of um, medical institution. And on a different note, you may be realizing some sort of long-term goal of yours, or you could be letting it go, because the 11th house in astrology is connected to our long-term goals for the future. So a full moon can indicate the completion or something reaching culmination, or it could just be, that you're walking away from something, especially if this goal had been harming your prospects with the opposition to Chiron. So maybe you are realizing that it no longer serves you. But, best case scenario is that you have some sort of breakthrough or intuitive download about your long-term goals for the future. Now, on the 11th of April, the Sun will be conjunct Jupiter, which is your ruling planet, in Aries at 21 degrees in your fifth house. And then on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees in your fifth house. And it will be conjunct Jupiter at 23 degrees. So the Sagittarians who will be the most impacted by this will be those born in the last 10 days of Sagittarius season, so from 20 to 29 degrees. And, even if you are a moon or a Sagittarius moon or rising, also look for 20 to 29 degrees because you guys will be the most impacted. Nevertheless, this does involve Jupiter, which is your ruling planet, so it's going to impact you either way. It'll just be felt more strongly for those of you in the last 10 degrees of Sag. So for some of you, you could be falling pregnant. You could be finding out that you are going to be having a child because this is occurring in your fifth house, which rules over having children. You could be launching a new business. You could have a new idea. You could have an idea for a new business or a new product or a service. You could discover a new passion or a hobby. You could be planning a vacation or a holiday. This could see some of you having a new relationship start. Your new or an existing relationship could be taken to the next level. A new romantic love interest could enter your life, even if nothing comes of it around the time of the eclipse or around the time of the Sun and Jupiter conjunction. I would just be looking out from, let's say, the 20th of March through till about the 20th of May for developments in your love life or with respect to owning your own business, hobbies, passions, and children. Ultimately, this can see you guys feeling more happy, more confident, more optimistic, more joyful. And, you could be discovering what really makes you happy, or at the very least, prioritizing this. This is honestly one of the most blessed periods for the whole of 2023 for you guys specifically as Sagittarians. So I'm expecting the Sagittarians that I know to be feeling more confident, more happy, more uplifted, or for there to be some sort of blessing or good fortune which comes your way, especially between the 11th and the 20th-ish of April. And let me know in the comments, you guys, if you are Sagittarians, how you're feeling around this time. Now, from the 21st of April through till the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus from 15 to 5 degrees in your sixth house. So the sixth house is associated with work, health, habits, and healing of all kinds, as well as pets. So this can see you speaking with former employers or work contacts, returning to an old job. This could see you editing your resume, rethinking your work opportunities and prospects, maybe having to edit an old work project, something that you thought was done, or you could just be in the editing process. On a different note, this could see you making changes to your work contracts, especially because Mercury rules over your seventh house. On a different note, if you've submitted a tax return, there may be an audit that is conducted here. A debt may be repaid to you. You may be paying off a debt. There may be some sort of debt which is waived. Hooray, if that's you. Maybe it's like a speeding ticket or something like that. On a different note, you could be going back to see your doctor. Maybe this is for a checkup. Maybe you're taking your pet to the vet for a checkup, and you could be understanding the root cause of some kind of health issue. You could have to repeat some sort of health treatment, and some of you may be changing doctors or changing health practitioners. And also, like I said, the sixth house is connected to habits, so you could actually be kicking some kind of bad health habit which you've been trying to, get rid of for quite some time. And this is really a great time for you to get your house in order, so to speak, or maybe even literally, because the sixth house is all about cleaning and decluttering and just, tedious, mundane tasks and admin sort of work. So you could be going through lots of documents or paperwork and really just getting things in order. Now, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Risings. This full moon in Libra will be taking place in your sixth house, on the 6th of April in your 10th house, and it will be at 16 degrees. So this can see there being the end of some sort of work responsibility. Maybe this is one which has been quite tiresome or laborious in nature. You could be receiving a promotion. You could be resigning. You could be retiring. You could be taking time off for family reasons. Maybe you need to take care of a family member. Maybe you are becoming a parent, so you could be going on parental leave. You could be resigning from your work. You could be retiring altogether. Your boss could retire. There could be big news which is breaking about your workplace. And I'm saying this because this full moon is opposite Chiron at 16 degrees Aries, and the Sun and Chiron will be making a conjunction the same day. So this could be something which is quite shocking in nature, and it doesn't need to impact you personally. It could just be like, the company is moving in a different direction, or maybe your favorite boss is resigning. Maybe your let's say where you are working could be shifting. So for example, if you were working at one particular office in one location, maybe you're being told, hey, you need to go and work in the other building now, or we're moving your office, or maybe you were able to work from home 5 days a week, and it's like, oh, now we need you to come in once a week or once every fortnight. It doesn't need to be a bad thing. It could just be a bit unexpected in nature. On a different level, this full moon could see your relationship status being made public, whether this is entering into a new relationship, maybe you're going through a breakup and you're having to announce this to other people. You could get engaged, you could be getting married, you could become a parent or a grandparent. So your public status or your reputation in some way, shape, or form could be shifting. And because of this opposition to Chiron in your fourth house, this could be in relation to family, property, living circumstances, um, you know, buying, selling, and who you live with. Okay. And family dynamics just in general. So, Capricorns, on the 11th of April, the Sun and Jupiter will be forming a conjunction in Aries at 21 degrees in your fourth house. And 9 days later, on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse at 29 degrees in your fourth house. So, this conjunction and this eclipse will be squaring you as a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So the Capricorns who will be the most impacted will be those between 20 and 29 degrees Capricorn. And if you're a Capricorn Sun, this will be those of you born in the last 10 days of Capricorn season. So maybe buying a new property, selling, a lease may end, you may break lease, someone may move out, someone may move into your home, you could be expanding your family. Like I said before, you could become a parent or a grandparent. This could see you discovering new information about your ancestry or your lineage. This could see you making a concerted effort to learn more about your family roots. Now, for others of you, you could be developing a property that you already own. You could be renovating your home. You could be expanding it, especially because Jupiter here represents some sort of expansion taking place. On a different level, this could see there being some sort of blessing which is bestowed upon your children or upon your parents, especially if it is your mother or the primary caregiver in your life. So, even if nothing is happening with respect to your living circumstances or your children, it could just be that your family member is experiencing liberation from some sort of difficult situation, or some sort of healing could take place. And for others of you, you could be making plans to relocate internationally, even if this is not permanent. This could be for a few weeks or for a few months. So this is a very blessed period of time. just generally speaking. But because this is squaring you, it could be that all of this takes place really quickly, or you're just having to capitalize on an opportunity at pace, especially because Aries, it's in the sign of Aries, which is to do something really quickly. Um, so, there could be some sort of like, um, let's say, challenge that is associated with this good fortune which is coming through. So it's like you need to rush to make ends meet, or give up something in order to capitalize on this blessing or this new opportunity. Now, from the 21st of April through till the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus in your fifth house from 15 degrees going back to 5 degrees, which means it will be trining you. So the Capricorns who will be feeling this the most will be those between 5 and 15 degrees Capricorn. I love to see a Mercury retrograde as a trine because it can represent um, some sort of positive influence coming through to us, or some sort of blessing which is associated with something that's already in existence, something that we're already aware of. So, being in your fifth house, you could be reopening your business. You could have a sudden surge of success with your business. And for others of you, if you've wanted to close your business for a long time, this can see you finally closing out that chapter. You may be rebranding or changing the aesthetic of your business. You may be making adjustments or changes to the products that you sell or to the services that you offer. On a different note, with the fifth house ruling over romance, dating, and sex, you may be re-entering the dating pool. Maybe you're reopening a dating app or your account on a dating app. You could be hearing back from an ex or getting back together with an ex. You could be having clarifying conversations with someone that you are romantically involved with. And if you have been wanting things to be taken to the next level for a really long time, and this feels like, it's been, well, a long time in the making, this can see you finally taking your relationship to the next level. And with the fifth house ruling over children, you may be changing your mind about whether or not you want to have children. You could be revising your parenting style. You could be getting back in touch with your child if you are estranged from them. And for others of you, just know that if your child regresses a little bit, no matter what age they are, let's just say that they had developed in some area and they take a step back, just know that, after the retrograde period is over, so from the 14th of May onwards, or maybe even the end of May after the post shadow period, they are likely to go back to the level that they were at. So just a random example would be, maybe you have a young child and they have just started sleeping through the night, and, all of a sudden their sleep is messed up, and, they're waking up again in the middle of the night, and you're like, oh, I thought I was past this. Or maybe, they've regressed with potty training. After the 14th of May, or certainly from early June, they can go back to the standard that they were at, and maybe even better. Okay, so let's have a look at Aquarius. Just one moment. And I'm nearly done. So just Aquarius and then Pisces, and then that's it. And also, guys, if you're enjoying these horoscopes, please give them a thumbs up and share the video. That really helps to grow the channel. So if you are an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, on the 6th of April, the full moon in Libra will be taking place in your ninth house, and this will be at 16 degrees. So it will be trining you. This full moon in your ninth house can see you maybe completing some form of higher education program, or maybe you are walking away from it. If you are a teacher yourself, this can see you closing out the coursework or finishing up the content creation. This can see some of you having an epiphany about your vision for your future, because the ninth house rules over the future. So this is like, not necessarily, look, it's different to the 11th house in the sense that the ninth house is more spiritual in nature, and it's like, you know, the biggest and best life that you can imagine for yourself. And it's not necessarily about putting that into practical, tangible steps. It's like, okay, I can see myself having this partner or this family or living in this place or having this house or whatever, or creating a business. This is like, if you can dream it, you can do it. But um it's about believing that you can manifest for this for yourself, or create this life for yourself. So this could see you having a huge breakthrough in this department, where it's like, oh, I really was, not shooting for the stars. I had not scaled up the dreams that I had for myself. I was playing it small, essentially. But this full moon in your ninth house is like, I could have bigger, better, more abundance in my life, a better relationship with my family, with my children, with my significant other. For some of you, this could be to do with property or marriage or a significant other. And I'm saying that because the full moon's in Libra, which rules over relationships, and it's at 16 degrees, which rules over family and property. So for many of you Aquarians, this is like, how do I want to raise my family? Do I want to start a family? How can I improve the relationship with my children? If you don't have children and that's not something that you want in your life, maybe this is about your living circumstances. How can my property and living circumstances be more in harmony, be more in balance? I don't want to rent forever, or I want to upsize, or maybe you want to downsize, maybe you want to live near the beach. If you can dream it, you can have it. That's what this full moon in Libra is about. So for others of you, you could be releasing old negative belief systems and belief patterns. Now, this full moon will be opposite Chiron. And on the same day, Chiron and the sun will form a conjunction in Aries in your third house. So the third house is all about communications and the lower mind. So it's more about the practical details and the nitty gritty. So this is about overcoming let's say the mental chatter, or the desire to plan everything out meticulously. And this can see you overcoming a level of skepticism with respect to your future travel, education, who you live with, where you live, maybe even citizenship or permanent residency. And lastly, maybe some of you will be having an important conversation with your father, or with some sort of mentor figure, which really opens your eyes up about your future prospects. Now, on the 11th of April, the Sun will form a conjunction with Jupiter in Aries at 21 degrees, and this will be in your third house. Then on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees, also in your third house. So the third house is all about communications of all kinds, whether this is you talking to other people, maybe this is to do with a writing project, documentary, a social media account, apps, anything that you create and innovate. The third house is also associated with education, and this is more like training, tests, exams, licenses, etc. So some of you may be starting a new project, starting a new communications piece, writing piece. You may be opening up a YouTube channel, creating an app, joining a new app which has some sort of positive impact on your life. You may be forming a new friend or a new friendship group. You may be sitting an important test, exam, or applying for some kind of education course or program. And I would see this as you being successfully accepted into the course or program. You may be creating your own education course. And ultimately, Jupiter is bringing through important blessings and healing into your life. So this indicates that some sort of good fortune will be blessing the matters of your third house. So this could even be the relationship that you have with your friends, with your siblings, with your relatives. On a different level, the third house is associated with sales and technology and vehicles. So you may be buying a new car, you may be purchasing an important technological device which helps you in some way. You may even receive it as a gift. So someone may buy a laptop for you, or phone, or help contribute financially to you purchasing a car. For others of you, this can see you generating lots of sales, whether this is face to face in your shop or with your online business. And others of you may be starting an important new group project. So in terms of the energy of the eclipse and when you can expect for the eclipse event or catalyst to make itself known to you, this could be around the 20th of April, plus or minus about 4 weeks. So from about the 20th of March through till about the 20th of April. And of course, we are very well under the influence of eclipse season as we speak. So, this stuff could be happening for you right now as you're watching this. On the 21st of April, so the day after the eclipse, through till the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in the sign of Taurus, and this will be occurring in your fourth house. So, Mercury retrogrades occur about 3 times every year, if not 4 times, and this can see you rethinking and reconsidering your property circumstances, your living circumstances. You could be making changes to your lease, whether this is your lease to as in sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. This could be the lease that you have for your tenants if you own property, or this could be your existing lease. So maybe you're breaking it, maybe the amount that you have to pay changes, maybe the amount that you were charging your tenants will change. Someone could be moving out of your place, someone could be moving in. This could see you rethinking or reconsidering your parenting style, or whether you even want to have children or start a family. You could be reuniting with your family. You could be reconciling as well. And old memories from your childhood could be cropping back up. And some of you may be revisiting your home country or your hometown. Now, if you are a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, this full moon in Libra will be taking place in your eighth house at 16 degrees. So the eighth house is all about your mutual resources, intimacy, anything hidden and secretive in nature. It also rules over the occult and anything esoteric. And full moons are all about the closing out of a chapter, the end of a cycle, or a situation reaching a culmination point or its peak. So you could be closing your bank account out that you share with another person. You could be dividing your assets or your valuables that you share with another person. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a romantic partner. This could just be anyone that you have joint assets with. Now, the eighth house is associated with secrets and anything that is hidden. So you could discover a secret around the 6th of April, plus or minus a couple of weeks. And you could have an important realization about certain fears that you have or certain addictions that you have. Some of you may be receiving inheritance or money from another person. Okay, so this could be a lump sum of money. You could be getting your tax back. You may have to pay someone out for a property, especially because the full moon in Libra is at 16 degrees. 16 degrees is the Cancerian degree, and Cancer rules over property. For others of you, you could be understanding why you have certain blockages when it comes to emotional intimacy or your ability to be vulnerable. And on a different note, you could have an incredibly healing experience with an astrologer or a tarot reader or a healer. And for some of you, this could be that you receive a reading with one of these individuals, or you may actually be the person which delivers a reading which has a very healing impact on someone else. And even if it's, not astrology or tarot or anything occult or esoteric, you could just have a very deep conversation with another person which has a healing impact on them. Now, on the 11th of April, the Sun and Jupiter will form a conjunction in the sign of Aries at 21 degrees in your second house. And then on the 20th of April, there will be a new moon eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees in your second house. And this will have a direct impact on you guys because Jupiter is your ruling planet. So Jupiter is involved in the conjunction with the Sun, and the new moon eclipse in Aries is also conjunct Jupiter. So the second house is all about your finances, resources, valuables, possessions, your values, your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your priorities, and also storage. So this can see you finding in dreams of income. You may make a big purchase or an investment, and this could be you investing in your career, because Jupiter rules over your 10th house being Sagittarius. So you could be spending a lot of money on something which is going to support your career or your future endeavors, or perhaps even your life purpose. Now, some of you may be receiving a lump sum of money, or you could receive a really big promotion. So this could be a salary increase. On a different note, you could have an epiphany with respect to your work status and your personal identity and your life path, because Jupiter is your ruling planet, and the second house, like I said, is your values. And with Jupiter ruling your 10th house, it's like, who do I want to be in the world? How do I want to show up? What do I want to do with my life path, with my career? This could also indicate that you want to walk away from your job, that you want to become self-employed, that you want to start your own business. Maybe you finally have the confidence to stick your hand up for a promotion. Maybe you are opting for a title shift. There could even be an opportunity for you to relocate internationally, and maybe you are being financially supported with this. On a different level, you could have a total shift when it comes to your values and priorities, just in general, work aside. And for others of you, you could be starting a new diet or forming new habits when it comes to food. Now, from the 21st of April, which is the day after the eclipse, through till the 14th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus from 15 degrees back to 5 degrees in your third house. So this can see you returning to a former work project, getting back in touch with old friends, maybe school friends, maybe co-workers or clients. You could be editing a communications piece, whether this is written or filmed, or a speech that you're looking at giving. You could be finishing off a writing or communications piece, and maybe this is something that you had pushed the pause button on. Mercury retrogrades are about doing something again. So you may be retaking a test, or retaking an exam, or sitting or going for, I don't know, like a driver's license again, especially if you were unsuccessful previously. And for others of you, you may need to renew your passport or renew your license. And that is a big reminder for you guys. If you are traveling abroad soon, go check your passport, go check the dates. Even if you know that your passport is still valid, you may need to look long and hard for it. So make sure you've got your license ready and your passport ready if you know that you are going to need it. And also, some of you could be taking your vehicle back for a service. Maybe you're going in for some kind of repair for a vehicle. This is a heightened period of time for vehicle breakdowns. So I would really just be checking over any vehicles that you own during this Mercury retrograde period. And of course, deadlines and meetings may be rescheduled or postponed. And so everyone, that's all I have for you for April 2023. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And of course, please share this video around so that more people can see it. Enjoy your month ahead, you guys, and I will see you for my May horoscopes.